We are back on the Rational Boomer podcast. Hopefully, your day is going well. It is Wednesday, but we're doing a Substack Live. You know how I love to do the Substack Lives. So much more calm. I don't have to deal with Trumplefucks or anything like that. We'll get a bunch of people in here. We'll get a chance to get some questions and comments, but we have an extra added surprise, not a surprise, but an extra added feature to this
Oh,
Substack Live.
shit.
We tried.
Selling a car, Mike.
Yeah, it's kind of like selling a car. You could either get air conditioning or Will. Will is the guest
Take
on
the
the
air
line here
conditioning.
today.
Take
Yeah,
the air
yeah,
conditioning off.
yes,
Okay.
especially if you live in Georgia, like Will.
Oh, God.
But Will is relatively new on a bigger way on Substack, and I wanted to bring him out here because he's regularly on our Rational Boomer podcast. People enjoy hearing from him, and I wanted to give more people a chance to hear from Will because he got some interesting point of view, and frankly, he's a little passionate, maybe more so than I am. So we were going to do this live. Welcome, Will. I'm glad you could make the time to do this.
Hey, Mike. Thanks for letting me on. Um, yeah, I just it, but I kind of, if you guys don't know me, those of you who do follow me know that I was on TikTok. They got me 3 times in a year, so I just decided I'm gonna abandon that. I'm finding that, and Vincent, thank you. You're cool. Um, I found that Substack is fun. And I don't have to watch over my shoulder when we do a live, or someone's going to go run to the AI and cut you off or ban you for 3 days from lives. It's just whatever. And I'm beginning to realize that TikTok is like high school sometimes when I'm harassed stuff. And so it seems to be a lot more adults over here. And also, it seems like the MAGA, I don't run across them that much. They seem to hide here,
Yeah,
or they don't bug us as much.
Lucy Madrano says, "Hey, Boomer. Hey, Lucy.
Yeah.
Say hi to Will. Um, Substack is people have said, well, you have a bigger crowd on TikTok. And I go, that doesn't really matter to me as far as I'm concerned. And I think Will feels the same way. If I come out here and somebody really has an interest to listen, I feel obligated to give them what they're looking for. I don't care if it's 10,000 people or 50 people. It really doesn't make a difference to me. If we can have an impact and engage with people of a like mind, that's what's important at this stage.
And hi, Lucy, how you doing? Also, TikTok, and we were discussing it. It's going to be ended up in the hands pretty much of Oracle and two other hedge fund guys. And as you discussed, they are, hi Stuart, they are huge Trump pumpers. So I don't know what's going to happen. That it's probably going to be the view. Um, uh, it's going to be Twitter plus 10. I know it's just going to be. Well, we'll see how it happens.
But
But
Donald Trump, Taco Donnie did what he normally does. In addition to us knowing that it's going to be probably sold to Oracle, they are Trump pumpers. They will ruin TikTok just as Elon ruined Twitter. So whether we get kicked off or not really doesn't matter. Uh, TikTok won't be what it once was. But he pushed back the date again. It's now December 16th. We have another
oh, I
two
didn't
months
see
before
that in the
anything.
article.
Yeah, yeah, he
Oh,
pushed
that
it
means
back.
that deal fell apart. I was
It
reading
could
a
be.
few minutes ago, they were going to have the deal was going to be announced on Friday. It fell apart again.
Well,
That tells you
unless they put
something.
it unless they put it back together. But I heard a report that he put a new deadline on it. Maybe this deal worked out after he put the. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Either way, it's not good news for TikTok.
No, and they were, as I said in my live yesterday, they were worried that TikTok was going to let the Chinese take over America or influence people. No, Trump did. The Chinese have more power in the world now than we do.
Yeah, no
That's
question.
honest. Let's honestly.
Okay, now Vincent has something here. Now we're going to jump around because it really is based on the
Go ahead.
questions we get from folks. I heard Pam Bondi tried to attack your First Amendment only to backtrack after some pushback. Yeah, I did hear something about that. Um, and backtracking is their middle name. That's all they ever do. They say
Well,
stupid shit, and then of course they backtrack and say, "I never said that."
yeah, and they talk about hate speech. No, you're talking about criticism of Trump. And Stephen Miller, first you got JD Vance saying, we're going to dox everyone who did not pay respect to Charlie Kirk. I didn't know the guy. Okay. And so him getting shot? That's horrid. But other than that, I don't care. Why should I care? I don't know the guy and I didn't believe in his world.
Right.
Simple as
You
that.
know, the thing about it is it's all over TikTok. People are doxing people for not paying proper respect
What
or not.
respect?
Yeah, I have no respect for them. And people would say, "Well, they'll dox you." I don't give a fuck because most people could find me real easily because I'm all over the internet for other things I've done in the past. Secondly, I don't work for anybody, and I do this specifically because nobody tells me what I can and can't say. But if you want to try to dox me, understand I have a pretty good following too, and you might get doxed yourself. So fuck around, find out. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Eric is out there.
Oh, hey,
Analytical
Eric.
Iowa says, "I think you don't get the Trump-a-fucks because you have to find the creators you want." That could be. And most of
Oh,
those
that's
dumb fucks can't spell, so you know.
and the sad thing about it is that the mass media is ramping this up. I was reading that apparently, and I have a theory about the shooter. We'll come back to it later, but apparently he was involved with his transgender roommate. They had a
Yeah.
relationship. Fine, I don't give a shit. But the point is, it's like they're trying to play this up that that person was the reason that he snapped. And I'm seeing that right now because they have text of him telling the roommate, "Yeah, I'm going to whack Kirk. I'm going to kill him." She'd be like, "What?" And that's,
Well,
and that's, but they're playing this up. They're looking for an excuse other than this guy was born and bred in Magaville.
well, that
Simple as that.
they're trying so hard to make him a liberal or a libtard, and they said it was a liberal before it happened, and
Mhm.
turned out it wasn't. This kid was born in a Trump-a-fuck family. He is right leaning. He is conservative leaning. He is a um, uh, religious nationalist. He's a white nationalist. He's all of those things. Nothing about him says Democrat. But the one thing
No,
they thought they could latch onto, what the one thing they thought they could latch onto is that he's living with this transgendered male to a woman. And that's not exactly true because this is a whole different culture. What they call that person is a femboy. They're not transforming into anything. This is about the gaming. This is a weird alt right gaming fucking freaky thing. I just saw a video um, um, with Nick Fuentes. He was out to dinner
ugh.
with this guy, this kind of feminine acting and cat ears on, and he's known for having a relationship. That's a deal in that culture, and that's fine. But they are alt right. They aren't left or Democrats by any sense of the manner,
And,
any manner of speaking.
and what they want to do is that he was raised right, but this person corrupted him. That's the thing they're going. And that's how they're hanging their hat on. Because you could see it. They keep trying to send the narrative as the left drove him to do this, and because we hate him, we hated Kirk, so this guy did it.
Right.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, this is the narrative. You got Stephen Miller, Nesferatu himself on the Charlie Kirk podcast, you know, with JD Vance, why VP's doing that, I don't know, saying that they're going to designate Democrats as a terrorist group. They're looking for cells, the evil cells, like it's some kind of Al Qaeda thing. This man is out of his bloody mind.
Do you know why? Do you know why JD Vance is tying himself to Jerry um, Kirk and doing his show yesterday? You know why he's doing that? Because he knows this is a cult, and he knows that when Donald Trump goes by the wayside, he can't replace Donald Trump. So he's trying to create some kind of base amongst the younger generations, the Charlie Kirk generation, and try to position himself. The problem with he's got two problems. He's got no personality and he's a dumb motherfucker. So it's not going to work.
Still, man. And Stewart called, Miller's forehead indicates that he had too many lobotomies.
That reminds me, you ever
Oh,
heard that
shit.
joke? You ever heard that joke? I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than a frontal lobotomy.
Yeah. I
I
yeah,
think we
I
can
don't think
all.
oh god, that guy. But,
Oh yes,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, you were saying.
I was just going to say, Michael Moore just said the orange pig, or as I call him, the orange anus, is in the UK today. And that's interesting because I've seen the footage of it. When he comes and gets off the plane and is going wherever he's going, they have these huge projectors put on Buckingham Palace,
Mhm.
pictures of him and Jeffrey Epstein and him and Ghislaine Maxwell and pictures of that page he wrote. Donald Trump gets off the plane and has to look at this shit. I'm sure he's fucking furious.
I'm glad that's still there because I've been seeing videos of Elon Musk spreading hate with Niall Farage, um, pushing
Yeah,
for his in the unfortunately, it looks like the Labour Party is gonna lose power soon. They have issues. They were trying to correct a mess left by conservatives. So Neil Farage, who gave us Brexit, which caused their problem, is trying to take advantage of it. And what's their theme? It's all the immigrants' fault. Okay,
right.
we've
Of
heard
course.
this one before. Warning to those of you who are British, don't do it. We know what happens. It's not going to help you. It's not going to save your economy. It's just going to make things worse. And the only difference between us and the Brits is that if you really go after people like you want to, they will go to the streets. I've seen it. They don't play games. So good luck with that. Don't do
Yeah,
it
you know
though. Don't do it.
that's the funny thing about the Brits. They're a little more in your face than some Americans. I mean, we get the protesters here, but they're not afraid to call out their politicians. Now, something that Donald Trump talked about today was going after people for hate speech, which is interesting because we all have a certain amount of First Amendment right. It's a matter of what you call hate speech. Now, hate speech can come in the form of people with LGBTQ, people of color, whatever. But they just want to call anything hate speech that speaks ill of Republicans who have every reason to be called out for their bullshit. They're trying to control the narrative. They're trying to quiet people down. I mean, the whole thing with Charlie Kirk. I don't know if you saw it. Well, you wouldn't have seen it on TikTok because they blocked you again. They fucking canceled you. But all over TikTok, they have these Republicans going out saying, or these Trump fucks going out saying, we're doxing everybody that laughs at Charlie Kirk or doesn't pay him proper homage. We're going to dox him and cause people to lose their jobs. And apparently, it's worked. They've got some people that have lost jobs. They put up a website doxing people. Then they took it down quickly because they quickly found out that it was illegal and they were going to have some problems. But I threw an idea out there, and I'm wondering what you think if they're out there trying to dox people and get them fired from their jobs and they're accomplishing that, what I think we should do is get all these people who lost their jobs and have them give us the names of the companies that are clearly in violation of the Constitution
Right.
and don't like the First Amendment. Let's dox these motherfuckers for what they're doing.
Right. I mean, unless you're doing this on company time or using company resources or bringing the company in there, they under most companies they have a social media standard. Okay. Now,
Yeah.
what they probably a lot of those people said is, unless you're celebrating his death, a lot of people probably said what Matthew Dodd got fired for. Yeah, that's tragic. He shouldn't have died like that, but he is this. And MSNBC, which is just fuck you, have turned into that. They got that Washington Post reporter. Why? She actually just printed his quotes.
Yeah.
That's it. And they got rid of her. She didn't say anything. She didn't advocate his death. She goes, this is the person you were dealing with. These are his words. So the Washington Post can go, kiss my ass, although they did have a good story that even ICE inspectors have found violations at the biggest ICE detention center in Texas, including constitutional rights, physical abuse, starvation, that even ICE is realizing that they're too much. Thank you, Judy. And so it's this is. I think it's going to burn itself out because they're pushing too hard for this narrative. It doesn't feel natural. Does that make sense?
Well,
Um,
they're trying too hard,
yeah.
and we know everything they do absolutely fails. So it's got to burn out eventually. It's got to come all crashing down.
To answer your
That's
question,
Go ahead.
Michael, I was reading, what do you think about the NFL doing a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk? I don't give a fuck. If that's what they have to do to keep Donald Trump from interfering with their thing, fine. Moment of silence. You know what? I don't mind that because the way he died was horrific. I have a moment of silence not only for him, but school shooting victims, people who have been victim of mass murders. If you want to tie all together, I have no problem. I don't think they're supporting MAGA. I think that A, they know if they don't do it, they just hear shit from everyone. And two, we should have a moment of silence for everyone who's been victimized by our fucked up gun culture. It's true.
Yeah,
I mean, look
absolutely.
at it that way. So I'm not going to get butthurt about it from a business standpoint. I get it. But if we take it from that standpoint, again, he was murdered in a horrible way, period. End
It was.
discussion.
Now,
And no
now,
one should
now,
die like that,
now
including children.
the thing about it is that Donald Trump was being asked about Charlie Kirk and people not paying proper homage. And somebody asked him, "What about this Melissa Hortman in Minnesota, the state legislator
Yeah.
that was shot by a Republican? Don't you think there should be some tribute paid to that?" Fucker had no idea what he was talking about. He had no clue
Oh, he knew.
what they were talking about. He sure didn't act like it. He acted like,
Well,
oh, I hadn't heard about that. So,
let me kind of rewind. Okay. He said he would do a half match Tim Walz. When asked originally when the act happened, when asked about it, are you going to, and I remember this, one of those pressers, one of those things in the Oval Office, are you going to reach out to Tim Walz? They asked him about the murder of Melissa Hortman and the other gentleman. And his quote was, why should I? That guy is a bad man. He knows what happened. That was another selective memory bullshit by Donald Trump. He knows what he did. He knows what he said. He's bullshitting us again. As soon as he said it, I thought of that. I thought about that. That he
by the way,
knows what happened.
I should
Yeah.
tell you this. This was kind of news today too. We know that Tim Walz was the vice presidential candidate with Kamala Harris. They, of course, lost on November 5th. Tim Walz has announced that he is going to
Good.
run for a third term for governor of Minnesota, which I'm all for because he's done a lot of great things in Minnesota. Republicans hate him. For me, that's enough to vote for him. But kids are getting free lunches. As far as the COVID vaccination, he put out an executive order said, whatever Trump says, fuck you, we all get COVID vaccination.
Right.
So he's doing all
Yeah.
the right things. He's protecting the people of his state.
Yeah, I saw a report of that was it Politico? And it was like, MAGA is ready to take over Minnesota. Yes, Republicans are going to take over Minnesota like Wisconsin. No, you're not. No, you're not. There's
No,
no way. Because
no.
Minnesota knows the benefit, and there's no way, there's not one of those mouth breeders that are going to go against Tim Walz in an election and debate. He will eat them alive. Like here in Georgia with John Ossoff and that guy, Buddy Carter. I told you originally, if you guys have followed our podcast about he's gotten $10 million of dark money,
Yeah.
and he's been putting up ads against John Ossoff, and they're stupid ads. The first ad was this guy being in cross-dressing, grabbing a participation trophy and going to a John Ossoff rally. The next set, and I'm like, we're watching something, because the good thing about it in the house, we have streaming, so we try to get away from commercials. But we were watching something that has to have a commercial. I think it was a sports event. And so unfortunately with streaming, even like Sling and all that, they target ads for your address, so they do local ads. And he pops up on the TV, and he is saying the first thing you see, Buddy Carter supported by Trump, shows Trump. Says he is a warrior, a MAGA warrior. Talks about, and this is what he talks about. He's going to support closed borders, Lincoln Riley. Yeah, Trump loves him. Vote for Buddy Carter, MAGA warrior. And I'm looking at that going, you really think that's going to work in Georgia? Are
Yeah,
you honest?
what foreign country does Georgia border?
I just, he's, but he, that's, but I'm looking at that. I'm looking at them going, that's what you got? I mean, no way. I mean, whoever they put up against John Ossoff is going to eat him alive. And here's a quick, for those of you in Georgia watching this, the former lieutenant governor of Georgia, the one who, during that whole mess of the 11,000 votes, and they were pressuring him, who got up and told basically Trump to go fuck himself. And the guy's name is Patrick. We can look it up. Is going to run for governor because Brian Kemp has turned out. He's going to run for governor of Georgia as a Democrat. As a Democrat. He's leaving the Republican Party to run as a Democrat. That is going to be interesting because he has conservative he got conservative street cred, but he isn't going to be Trump's boy.
Right.
And see here, Florida has anti-immigration ads with Kristi Noem. Yeah, well, that's a shock, Jose. That's not shocking. That's our money at work, huh? Doesn't that make you feel better? Doesn't make me feel better.
Yeah,
Because you and I, sir, don't have Fourth Amendment rights. I'm sorry, but
I want to say something here. Linda Roberts Hibbs says Trump is having a hard time getting off a helicopter. Now, Stuart Cohen had a joking response. I'm not going to say it, but I did laugh at it. Thank you, Stuart. Um, let's see. Trump is a born loser. Hold on. Trump is a born loser, so he had to perfect his bullshit skills to survive. There's a lot of truth to that. I mean, people have uh, trained themselves to get themselves out of every mess they ever got themselves in. But with narcissists, here's what happened. Ultimately, in the end, it becomes overwhelming. They can't control everything. They can't manipulate everything, and they finally get
yeah,
fucking buried.
Stella popped up on my YouTube feed. The one thing I miss about TikTok is some of the people I did like Stella, a couple of other people that I have to wait for them to upload to TikTok now. She had a video. They're talking about, people doxing and people don't care about Charlie Kirk. Let me show you something. And it was one of those outdoor lawn things with Trump. And someone asked him, it's been a day and a half since the Charlie Kirk, your friend, was murdered. How do you feel about it? He goes, yeah, I'm feeling okay. Did you see the construction for the new ballroom? Isn't that great? And she made the point, as a narcissist, he cannot stand that Charlie Kirk is in the news.
Oh yeah, he hates
Honestly.
the attention being taken away from him.
Yeah, I said. So he brings out the ballroom. By the way, who fucking approved that funding for that bullshit? I
He
thought
says
all that funding had to come from Congress.
he says he's paying for it himself.
Bullshit. Trump hasn't paid for a hot dog in New York in his entire life. Yeah, Jose, I know. Fourth Amendment, that sucks for us. We have to be careful, unfortunately. It's tough like that. Tough.
Jose says, absolutely, Will. We as Latinos don't have the Fourth Amendment rights. And I know you talked about this too, where the Supreme Court said, yeah, you can pick up brown people if they talk a different language or if they work in certain fields of business. You can just grab them just because they seem like they might be illegal immigrants. I know this is something that upsets you immensely and probably still does.
Yeah, I mean, because there's no probable cause. And as I said in our last podcast, was that you watch these arrests. When someone's arrested, they go, "You're arrested for A, B, and C." They give you your Miranda rights. They take you, and then you get a chance to get bailed out. No,
Correct.
this is stone cold secret police shit. You get picked up and you vanish, and they found out, and it even works for Korean nationals, the ones that got picked up in Georgia. When they go back to Korea, oh, were they spilling the tea? Oh,
Yeah.
they have been spilling the tea about their treatment by ICE. And that's why Korea and Hyundai, it's not just that they did it. You could say it was a mistake and all that and back off. No, the Koreans that were arrested were abused and
Oh,
they're not
sure.
happy. And it's going to cost this country $15 trillion because Hyundai wants to pull out. And that's not there. Good luck with that. And so it's just
And I
Trump
heard
said,
Trump.
Judy, Trump says smart people don't like him. And
That's
water is
true.
wet, Judy.
Well, that's the thing. I understand Donald Trump is doing a two-step here now, trying to get back in the good graces with the South Koreans. I don't, I don't think he understands who the South Koreans are. They're not going to
No.
fucking bend. They're going to hammer it home. That's who they are. They are not going to take this shit. And Donald Trump cost this country hundreds and hundreds, maybe trillions of dollars. And it didn't stop there. Remember his fucking around with Denmark and trying
Yep.
to uh, uh, trying to get a Greenland to be sold to us, and then he sends spies there to try to infiltrate. And then Denmark was going to buy a missile protection system from us for 50, $60 billion. And they said, fuck it, we're going to get it from Italy and France. This is what Donald Trump does. He claims to bring in money, but he costs us more money
And
than he could ever possibly bring in.
and you have to understand, people when they say that they're going to buy something, they don't buy it from the American government. They buy it from you
Yeah,
know
the
Rocketdyne. They buy
contractor.
it from
Yeah,
Lockheed. Those are jobs created here. The ignorance of people when it comes to government spending is found out. Just look at the farmers. I know they were supporting U.S. aid being cut off. Yeah, fuck them foreigners. But guess what? It isn't money. It was the money they gave you to make the crops so they can send food over there. They took money out of your pocket. The whole Ukrainian thing. Well, why are we sending money to Ukraine? No, we're not. We're sending arms that are made in the United States, and then money that was used here, and then shipped the product. And Michael brings up what we talked about. I saw your video earlier of the two young men hung in Mississippi.
yeah.
Well,
Actually,
I
that's
read that.
I'm
I
I'm
read
glad
that. Uh,
I'm glad Michael Moore brought this up because um, that's a good thing. We keep talking and crying about Charlie Kirk, and everybody's, oh, it's terrible, it's terrible. But while that's going on today, we find out that there were two black men hanged to death in Mississippi. We hear the police show up on the scene and go, yeah, it looks like suicide to me. Really no need for an investigation. There is going to be an investigation. And the thing about it is Michael Moore is absolutely right. No coverage on that.
yeah.
Nobody's weeping for these people. And if you tell me if you find two black men hanging from a tree, hung to death in Mississippi, and you tell me it's suicide, I'm sorry, I'm going to be a little
Well,
fucking dubious.
one of them was in the woods. One of them was on campus of Delta
Right.
State in Mississippi with no tendencies for suicide, no suicide note. Yeah, okay. The police saying, well, there was no, um, looks like any force used to hang him. You don't need force to hang somebody, okay, to lynch someone. I
No.
mean, we keep saying hang. Let's just use the word. It looks like they were lynched.
Yeah, it does look like
Okay,
they were lying.
they look like they were lynched. Someone's trying to make a statement. Now, this is Mississippi, and that is those hardcore Mississippi burning KKK from the 60s. If you think that went away, you're crazy because they breed them.
No. Yeah.
Um, And the FBI is like going, yeah, if they call us, we'll figure it out. Because the FBI is too busy somewhere else doing other shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Exactly.
uh, uh, and so, and I'm glad that Booker called Cash Patel out on that. Because the other thing they forgot to call out Cash Patel on it, because this all still finds with the theme, is that he fired all the veteran directors and agents because they refused to kiss Trump's ass and kiss his ass. Now he's
Right.
being sued by them for illegal firing, and literally they're saying he's pissed away hundreds of years of expertise in the FBI.
Right.
And talk about a man who looks lost, dude. Oh, talk about a man. He just looks so out of his depth, so over his skis. He has no
Absolutely.
law enforcement. It's ridiculous. You can't defend that. Yeah, they had, Linda, they had an anti-lynching bill. Guess who voted against it? Every fucking Republican in the Senate and the House.
They
I
did.
remember that.
I want to say something to Linda too. Linda says I put 450,000 miles on my Hyundai before trading it in Maine. So I'm presuming you're in Maine. Uh, I have a Hyundai too, so and I've had pretty good luck with it. But I'm coming to Maine at the end of October. My wife and I are coming to Portland, Maine, and we're going to do, a few days there. We were in Portland, Maine a couple of years ago. Absolutely beautiful place. Kennebunkport, Acadia, all that stuff. We're looking forward to it. Um,
Never been to me.
it's a beautiful place. Vincent says Canada working hard to detach from the American making deals with Nordics and
Yeah.
Europe. Actually, everybody is in the process of trying to detach from America. A lot of people thought it was going to be too tough to do, but now they're in a position where they don't have a choice. So it may be hard, this process weaning off of America, but they really have no choice because you have a president that keeps cutting deals but goes back on those deals, and you can't trust him. So there's no point in cutting deals with them.
And that is why our economy is stagnating. They have
Yeah,
this thing. I just read an article about the Labor Department that those people are just like disgusted if the morale is low. There are people and they've got nothing but Trump fucks running around in there. They're pushing a they're pushing a America first hire only. It's stupid. And it's like it this is they are sabotaging the economy, thinking that it's going to be okay. It's not going to be okay. Sorry, guys. Don't give us that. Give us a year. Yeah, that's like Trump saying, give me 2 weeks. Now that's the
yeah.
thing. Give us a year, the economy okay. No, it's not. No, it's not. Wait till the next job numbers come out in October. Holy shit. Things are going to start really happening. But guess what? But we have all the distractions from all
Well,
this crap right now.
you can refuse to give out the numbers. I mean, that's fine, but you can't change the effects it has on people. We are people are going to be out of jobs. People are going to be struggling. People are going to be suffering. So you can just not report on the numbers or fake the numbers, but there's
Mhm.
real impact on people in this country, and that is going to affect the Republican Party mightily.
Yeah, Michael. Yeah, Trump said that we're the hottest country. I saw that. Such a ridiculous bullshit. I mean, he's in 8 months, 8 months, he took the greatest economy we had, economy that the entire United States, the entire world was envy of, and broke it,
Yeah.
cracked it because it wasn't his. And here we go. Got a
He
clue
thinks
this morning. Just ripping
he thinks he
people.
can just say something and then it becomes true because you said it. We're the hottest country in the world. And here's the thing: for years and years, people have said we are the greatest country in the world. And I'm sorry to say, given the situation we're in now, we're not even in the fucking top 10 right now. And I think
Well,
everybody would agree about that all around the world.
and it's also affecting the whole world. You have to understand that you're having economic problems in other countries that's kind of lashing across everything because if the American economy is going good, everyone's economy is going well.
Right.
And so the people that he has running the economic sides are just so incompetent. Well, then everybody's incompetent in the Trump administration. I
Right.
mean, you just go down each one of the secretaries. They have no idea. Um, so we're going to see what happens. Yeah, someone knows. Yeah, I saw Nepal had a coup, but was it a military coup? What happened there?
I
I'm
tell I
seeing
tell I tell you what. I want to remind folks. It's me and Will on the Substack Live. Will has just started to pump things into Substack. If you don't follow Will as of yet, by all means do that. Take the opportunity right here, right today. You'll see him more on lives on his own. You'll see him on lives with me, and just we'll tell them where where they could find
right.
you. Stay.
Again, pretty simple. The old school. Binder 38 US on Substack, also on YouTube. As I said before, I do have a subscription. If you want to subscribe, great. Um, that's working money for me in the sense that I can go ahead and look at certain access some information that I don't have access to. Also, I'm old, so I can use retirement money. Ha ha. Hee, hee. Um, but yeah, I found Substack now in the time I've been in it and really kind of dove into it. It's a lot more less stressful than TikTok.
It's far less stressful than TikTok, and I enjoy it. And we have the good fortune to have a number of people come out to these lives, and it makes it more fun to do. Now, this is a good question for you, Will, at least your opinion. Rouser CW says, haven't we reached a constitutional crisis yet? Trump wants to destroy America so that he controls everything because we have nothing. I heard somebody else ask the commentator, are we at a constitutional crisis? Because we kept hearing people say, we could have a constitutional crisis. I got to believe we're in that crisis right now.
I mean, when the Supreme Court says that some people can have the Fourth Amendment rights, equivalent to what the yeah, we've had it for because again, and I made this comment last night, is that we were built by our founding fathers to have three branches of government equal so they check each other. They didn't want a king. They knew a king was a bad thing. Now, but the executive branch has a lot of power. And the idea of not wielding that power or only with consent came from George Washington.
Right.
Understand, Washington stepped away during his second term. He didn't want them to it to be until he dies, and then there'll be another president. That's a king thing. He didn't want that. What I always love about Hamilton, the part where he walks away, that's his speech. That's the
Uh,
actual words that Washington said. That's what he wanted, and most presidents have followed that till we got to Trump, because you have a narcissist who believes that and on the people around him that the president can do anything they want. It's never been like that. Even with bad presidents, they knew that. And Congresses fought back, courts fought back when presidents stepped out of line. Nixon, if Nixon had done what he did in this time, he would have gotten away with it. They never ever would have forced him to resign, the Republicans.
oh, what
And
Nixon did was minute compared to what Donald Trump has done.
exactly.
I mean,
And
everything that Donald, if you went back to the Nixon days and you talked to them and you told them of what would be coming in 2020 to 2025, they wouldn't believe you because there were all these norms and all these rules and all these laws, and nobody thought anybody would step over them. They had no idea that somebody like Donald Trump would come along and just walk over
yeah,
everything. And what it exposed to us was that we thought this government, we thought the judicial system, we thought Congress was very strong, had a lot of teeth. What Donald Trump has exposed, there is no strength, there is no teeth.
no,
Anybody can do anything they fucking want if they have the audacity to do it.
yeah, they're cowardly, because the thing that always that brings me back is all the things like, again, I hate to come back to Kirk because it just makes me sick to have time. But the press reaction to it, without pressing and not looking at it from a journalistic standpoint, they keep kowtowing to Trump. They keep giving Trump what he wants. They fear him. How do you fear that? Listen
Yeah.
to him. Look at him. When he was, I'll tell you this because I said this and you have to agree with that. When he was sitting on that couch with Fox News and they asked him, do you want to do unity? He says, I don't care. Two things crossed my mind. One, if you're sitting that close to Trump, I saw like little thought bubbles you see like in a cartoon with all the Fox people going, using that line from the song, ooh, that smell, can you smell that smell? I know they were thinking that. And second, if you're surprised he said that, remember that during COVID, when a reporter asked him, Mr. President, people are scared. What do you say to them to make them feel better about this situation? And Trump said, that's a horrible question. You're a bad person because he does not give a fuck about us or anybody.
You,
Simple.
it's funny. It's funny you should mention that because he did something similar to that today, and Michael Moore brings it up. He says Trump threatened the press today prior to heading to the UK. And what he's talking about is before he got on the plane or whatever, he was talking, and a fairly respected reporter from ABC, Jonathan Carl, was asking him questions. Donald Trump didn't like the questions, so he started to demean the guy and threaten the guy. And, this is what it's come down to. Donald Trump threatens the press. And then he says, you forget, ABC paid me $16 million because I sued him before. Now, that lawsuit that he had against ABC and George Stephanopoulos was a slam dunk. He would have never won that. But ABC bent a knee. And because ABC bent a knee, Jonathan Carl had to go through the bullshit he through today.
Right.
And this is what happens when you give an inch to a narcissist, they keep coming, they keep taking. It's a fucking mistake, and history will not remember you well.
Yeah. Does he still have a job? And that wasn't it.
I don't
Jonathan
know.
Carl, but that wasn't because Terry Moran got run. You remember that
Yeah,
from ABC? But that wasn't just ABC. That was Disney. Disney rolled over on Trump. They just want to get it out of the way.
sure.
Stupid. Like CBS did the same thing. And I think he's hoping that the New York Times does the same thing with that $15 billion lawsuit. And the thing about it, it's not even about the Epstein stuff. It's about what they said about him before the election, during the election he won. Where's the logic of this just is insane. And I
Also,
just, yeah,
once you bend to a bully, you're going to be bullied for the rest of your life. The only way to
right.
stop a bully is to push back. And these people are so concerned about their little deals and the money they can make, they're willing to risk their integrity for making a couple extra dollars, and they're already wealthy. But when this is all said and done, I mean, don't you believe that is there anything on mainstream media in terms of the news on streaming or on network news? Is there anything that can survive? They've all kind of bent a knee one way or another to Donald Trump, and this isn't going to be remembered well when this is all
No,
said and done. That they were
yeah.
pussy ass bitches and they were chicken and they gave in to Donald Trump.
I mean, I read, it's already started. I read that it's something like 67 representatives and senators are not running for reelection. The
Yeah,
majority being Republican.
right.
And the reason that the rest of Republicans are trying to grip onto this narrative that the left is hateful and trying to deflect is that they know, as they can see from the special elections, they're going to get their asses handed to them. And when Mondani whips the shit out of everyone in New York, they're going to find that out. That's going to be a warning for both the far right, for the Republicans, and for the Democratic leadership. Because Kathy
So that
Hochul made a good move. She said, yeah, I see the future. I'm going to jump on this. She's
well,
smart.
that's exactly right. And you got Hakeem Jeffries and Schumer. They're holding back on supporting Mandami because of money they get from APAC or whatever. They don't like him because he's Muslim or they think he might be socialist. Well, we're an authoritarian dictatorship right now. Maybe we need a little progressiveness. Maybe we need a little socialist Democrat to right the ship here. But don't you think Mandami is kind of a pivot point for 2026 and beyond to 2028? You know, the
Yes.
Democrats have done whatever they can to shut him down. Donald Trump has said that once Hochul supported Mondami, now Donald Trump's threatening to take away funding from New York, which is funny because New York
Oh,
probably pays more in than gets. But he's freaking out about this. And I think
yes.
if Mondami wins in November, in about 2 months, a month and a half or something, if he wins, that's going to be a turning point in this whole thing. The Democrats are going to have to say, fuck, maybe they want younger people. Maybe they want more people that are more progressive to help the middle class. I'm a firm believer that we're so far right now, we have to crank the wheel way left in order to get back in the
But
middle.
not crazy left. I mean, I got into a somewhat spat with someone because I had mentioned, about the Hochul thing, and that guy went to me, "Well, yeah, Democrats are no better because they're authoritarian too." I go, "What are you talking about? I mean,
Yeah,
they're both the same." No, that's the thing we have to watch out for. Madami is not a far lefter. He's just practical progressive. That's the way I see it.
right.
With practical things that work for people who are not rich beyond God. Okay. Everything he said makes sense and it doesn't cost that much money to fix. Even even the talking about crime, he just said, "Hey, police want to do crime. They don't want to deal with mental health. We can spend money and have mental health teams go out instead of police." That's practical. He talked to the cops about that. And what is Cuomo and Adams saying? He wants to defund the police. He says, "No, I want to give them more money, but in the right places." He's smart. And that's the
Yeah,
difference. What I don't want is these far lefters standing up and going, "We were right, you fucking Bernie bros." No offense to Bernie Sanders, who I still don't trust. The Bernie bros will burn it all down. They voted for Jill Stein. They won't vote. They will say both sides are. We need a new party. There's only a two parties. Hey, great discussion after we get out of this mess. You
right.
dumbasses. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's funny. The Republicans will constantly say anytime there's money that helps to support the middle class or give a safety net, they call that socialism. And I don't agree with them. I mean, because if you look at the oligarchs, if they're investing into something, investing into a portfolio, something, they expect a return on investment. And we as the middle class are probably the largest investor in our US government. So for us to expect some kind of return on investment, the promise they make when these people are elected and the oaths they take, we should get something in return. But every time they do that, like Biden and such, they go, oh, he's a socialist. You got to figure out what the fuck a socialist is. And helping the public that's paying the bills is not socialism. It's return on investment, and it's
right.
time we fucking get some.
To answer Rose Cruz's question, why can't we act in the so we can't act in the constitutional crisis because the executive branch and the Supreme Court are kissing up to Trump. Yes. At this point, yes. Our only hope at this point is to take back the legislative branch. At that
Right.
point, then you're starting to dragging in people from the executive branch and investigate, and you go at the Supreme Court for corruption. That will scare the piss out of them. See, once the problem is you don't have all three branches are if the other two branches are letting Trump do what he wants. If you get
Right.
one branch that goes, "No, we have the power of the purse. We can investigate you in Congress. We can bring your dirty laundry out in front of everybody." That will change the narrative or change the way things are. That's our problem. So right now, the only way for us constitutionally and peacefully is to take back the legislative branch, which we can do next November. That's
right.
what
That's the
scares
first
them
step.
to death.
That scares them, and that's the first step. Vincent says the de-Trumpism movement will be crazy after Trump passes away. It will be reminiscent of Nikita Khrushchev's move after the death of Stalin. And you're absolutely right. Once
Yes.
Donald Trump does not have his clutches on power, people are going to be running from him in droves, and there's going to be a massive anti-Trump movement. It's going to be crazy when it happens. I just wish it would fucking happen soon.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good pull, Vincent. I forgot about that. When Khrushchev became premier or head of Russia, they went through a Stalin purge. They purged all that out
Yeah.
because that had been toxic. They had to because there was no way it was going to eat them alive, and they had to get moving forward into the 20th century. They were too far behind. But yeah, I'm hope the thing about a stroke out, and you mentioned something. I saw that video of Trump's right face kind of collapsing.
Yeah.
He's not well. I don't know what they're pumping him full of to keep him up, but that can't last that long, much longer. And everyone's going, here we go. That's the other thing that they're hanging on with the hate speech. Yeah, you want him to die. You're wishing for him to die. Okay, maybe not, but we're expecting it. I mean, you can't live like that, dude. I mean,
No.
look at myself. I can't do half the shit I did. I'm paying a price. I know it, but at least I realize it. I don't envision myself 6'3", 210 because I'm 5'10 to start with. But that's, I mean, we are the hardest thing right now for everybody is that we are living under a government that lives in a fantasy world created by Fox News, and they govern like that, and they expect
Right.
all of us to go, "That's great, we capitulate." Mike Johnson telling all the cities, "You should just let the National Guard in. It's okay." No, dude, I've heard those words. I've heard victims say those words before. If you know what I mean. Okay? No, no. You saw that in Chicago. Why is he going to Chicago? Because they saw what would happen. They saw what would happen. They were ready.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they were. That was going to be bad, so they backed out. Whoever was in charge of the National Guard and military actually looked at it from a tactical standpoint and go, no, that's not good. These people are ready. This will be bad.
Now, now, Will Rouser CW made a comment about something you said. He said we can't act on the constitutional crisis because the executive branch and the
Mhm.
Supreme Court is kissing up to Trump. Yeah, the whole thing is broken. There is no safety net anymore. It's all complicit with Donald Trump. It's all been tainted, and that's why we do have a constitutional crisis, and we have no safety net now because those safety nets have been compromised as well.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. If we take back the legislative branch, we can force, we can screw with them. We can make it
Yeah,
harder. We can slow it down, which brings us to September 30th. We have an opportunity, Democrats have an opportunity to slow it down, shut the government down.
you're
But
talking
I
about the
keep hearing
budget.
these, yeah, the budget. Sorry, yeah, the budget has to be, a spending bill has to be passed. And the problem is that I'm hearing negotiations, bipartisanship. No, we should shut it down and sit there and go, okay, you want it back? What are you going to give us? What are you going to do?
Well,
That's the
the thing
smart
about it,
thing to do at this point.
the thing about it is the Democrats can't really shut anything down, but the Republicans can't pass it on their own because they're so divided. I think what the Democrats should do is say, look, you have the majority in the House, you have the majority in the Senate. Do what you're going to do. We can't do anything about it, but we're certainly not going to help you continue to compromise people in this country and take away medical care and take away money from these people. If they negotiate, I presume Schumer's going to go in and say, well, let's not take as much from Medicaid. Let's not do this. How about we just don't do it at all? You gotta
Yes.
you gotta play hardball here, and as long as Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries are there, they're not going to do it. That's why those two have to fucking go as soon as possible. Hakeem
Right.
can
And
go in 26. Schumer's got
right.
till 28 or 29.
Well, I mean, he could have the Senate seat. He just can't have his leadership because
Right,
his leadership and through the whole Charlie Kirk thing and all that, they sound so weak and whiny, and it's just you kind of go, okay. I mean, it is time to fight their fight. We don't.
right.
I mean, again, uh, don't talk about policy. Policy's over. We have to talk. We have to fight like Newsom's been doing and everyone. Um, yeah. Eric, I'll address that real quick and I'll come back. Yeah, Jeff Duncan is running as a Democrat is a good idea for him. For the state of Georgia, probably too, because he was a practical, but he is a conservative. He's got some conservative coin to work with, and it'll be better from Georgia than any other MAGA fuck that they're going to run because the Republicans are going to run
Yeah,
crazy people. Um, and like John Ossoff, whoever John Ossoff is going to face, all the people who are smart or practical Republicans are gone. They're not going to run. They're going to run a psychopath,
right.
and they're going to get eaten alive. And Jeff Duncan will probably, if I will vote for him because I think it's a better practicality of him winning, because I know whoever's going to be on the other side is going to be MAGA. And we cannot have that in the state because they will break the state even worse than than that one dumb broad did with the Hyundai plan.
Yeah.
So that I
Now,
hope that
Vin,
answers your question, Eric.
Vincent says, Boomer, can you get any of your friends who did serve in the military to voice their opinion on America not joining the ICC because the soldiers doing crimes in other countries? Yeah, which what he's talking about there is International Criminal Court. Um,
Mhm.
you know, when
The hate.
Vladimir Putin landed in Alaska, if he landed in somebody who recognized the ICC, he could have been arrested at that point. But for whatever reason, America doesn't recognize it. And I don't think that's a Trump thing. I think that's something that's been going on all along. And I'm not sure why that is. Probably because there are Americans that could be tried. Uh, but I think we should participate in that, especially after what we're doing now, because Donald Trump at this moment is committing international crimes.
They should be tried. And yes, Linda, I voted for Ossoff 2 times in one in one election, and I will vote for him again. Yeah, he's the best thing Georgia ever did was John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock. Brilliant
Absolutely.
guys who are working for the state and the country, and they're not looking at themselves. And John Ossoff will win re-election because no one. If you want to take him on, that's your problem. Good luck. But he's smart, and I've seen him in the hearings, and him and Raphael Warnock will rip people apart. I love Warnock when he went after RFK.
Yeah.
Oh, that was beautiful. That was a work of art. Um, and
You know,
so
I think John Ossoff could be a legitimate candidate for president too. You know,
later
he'll
down
win
the
the
line,
Senate. Yeah, maybe not in 28, maybe in 32, but he's a young man. He's smart. He's tough. He's not afraid to speak his mind. He may be the kind of guy we need at some point.
right? I mean, yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting come 26 because what we're going to see right now is not that Democrats can't win, is that how we're going to get around the fuckery that Republicans going to do to try to get away with the
Yeah,
election. Because that's all they
yeah,
have. They can't stand on anything. Everything is performative or anger based. But the
yeah,
only problem now is that, farmers in the Midwest going to lose their farms. People are going to be losing SNAP. Already Medicaid is affecting people. What's going to happen then? How are you
yeah.
going to hide that? I mean, who are you going to blame? You can't blame Democrats. They ain't passed that bullshit. You did.
No, absolutely. Now, Patty G brings this up. Memphis will be the next stop for National Guard infusion.
Yeah.
Nonviolence needs to be put into practice while the Guard is there. Well, yeah, the nonviolence thing, they're looking for violence. They're looking for it to get out of hand. I'm not sure how well they're going to fare in Memphis. That is a red state. There was a rumor going around that some people stole tanks. I don't even know that that was true, but it's a funny story. I hope it's true. But
Not surprised that it wouldn't be.
here's my question, though. We kept hearing about Chicago. I haven't heard him go into Chicago. Johnny, what are you, a pussy ass bitch? You afraid to go in Chicago?
Yeah. It's just they saw they told him to back off, and he did it. He saw that. He still said, "Well, they should ask me to come in." No, dude, ain't happening. Ain't happening. And Memphis, unfortunately, Memphis has got the support. The National Guard movement in Memphis got the support of
Of
the
the governor.
Tennessee governor, was a fucking Trump humper. Hates Memphis because the Democratic weren't on his ass.
But
But it's not going to be good.
don't you think they should be afraid of what they ask for because they just might get it? I mean, when they go in there and they start taking merchants and friends and family and stuff, and they finally realize that it's not just the other people that are getting taken, that it's their own people, that might cause kind of an uproar in a red state. And those fuckers are crazy. So who knows what that turns into?
Right. I'm sorry, Ramaswamy is running for governor of Ohio.
Oh
What the
yeah, he
hell?
is.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead, Ohio. You deserve it. Whatever. Do your thing.
If
Jeez,
you
that
if
would
you
just be insane. Um,
if Ohio elects Ramaswamy as governor or anything, we can't take you seriously anymore because he's a fucking joke. He's a goofball.
I mean, and that's the problem we have right now. Is we do. It's not just incompetence that we're dealing with. It's dangerous incompetence. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, Pete Heskett is one thing. RFK Jr. is literally going to cost the death of hundreds of thousands of people this winter. Watch it. There's already measles outbreaks. There's COVID outbreaks in some states. It is not good, and they're all red states.
Right.
All these mouth breeders who want to have freedom, my body, my choice, except it comes to abortion. And you're going to pay the price. Your kids are going to pay the price. And again, as one person said, the reason that they don't want vaccines because they never got the diseases. They don't when they say, "Oh, it's just measles or kids disease." I've had measles when I was a kid. I remember it. It's a painful, swollen thing. It's pain for days, and you got to hope you work your way out of it. It's painful. I
When
remember, and
when
I
I
was
grew up in the
8.
'60s, yeah, when I grew up in the '60s, and there were people who said that you know people would get measles and it was just something a kid was supposed to go through. But there are people that die from measles. I'll be honest with you. I was talking to my daughter-in-law today, and she's very cautious about her new baby, a 3-month-old baby, and and he's getting his vaccinations. He's going to get his next set on October 3rd. And I said, listen, Cindy and I fly around a lot. She's worried about getting in contact with the kid um, after you've been on a plane because she's overly cautious. She never had a baby before. And I said, well, he'll be vaccinated. She goes, but I'm worried about measles for my baby. And he doesn't get his measles shots until he's 6 months old, and he's going to be 4 months old. People are scared about this stuff, and they should be. I saw there's like 1,400, maybe a couple thousand cases of measles throughout the country, and that didn't used to be like that. We used to
Nope,
not even dealt with that shit.
nope. And I mean, because people are ignorant. They have just lost their minds. And it used to be we glorified science, we glorified American ingenuity.
Right.
Now, I mean, as someone wrote in here, Trump says smart people hate him. Yeah, because we know you're lying to us. Just you lied to us. We know it's bullshit. You have been conning people. The sad thing about it is that in New York, he's been conning smart people for decades.
Right.
Now he's able to con the stupid and the smart to buy into him. And now they're paying the price. You're being conned. And where the one thing I want to know about is that once we get Congress back and we get some sense when it comes to money, where's my money? I keep
Yeah.
reading they cut this, they cut that. Where's the money going? How much is going into his pocket, in his family's pocket?
Yeah, if you're
What,
saving us, if you're saving us money, you're saving tax money. So the right thing would be to send it back to the people who paid it in the first place. You're
right.
saving money, but we're not getting it, and we will never get it.
And yeah, Michael, no, unfortunately, Florida is a disease petri dish. I agree. They
And it's
just
sad.
want it. Let's see what happens.
It's a beautiful state. I like Florida. I've been there many times. I like Fort Myers. I went to the Keys a few years ago. I love that place, but I won't go back there now until shit is straightened out. And you got to get rid of DeSantis. We got to get rid of Trump and get people on a normal footing because it's fucking crazy down there.
Yeah,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, you were
Well,
saying you're going to be
Well, Spacer says, let me explain how vaccines work to those who don't know. Imagine you have a sink and the faucet is running. The water is the amount of disease cases that are pouring in. The drain is the number of deaths when the water drains. Vaccines are used to shut off the uh, faucet, then we can slow the drain, not out the drain. The number of cases to lower incidence and later prevalence. Um,
exactly. That is a
yeah,
very simplistic way of putting it. Right on the
thank you,
point.
Spacer. Yeah,
Right
thank
on the
you for
point. I mean,
that.
and from someone who was raised by a public health nurse, yeah. And the thing about it is they don't. And here's the thing: what RFK is doing, he's taking away free vaccines. He's making sure that the government can give you vaccines or make the insurance companies both for give it to them, and that's dangerous because then you have poor people who are more inclined to be together, living in bigger concentrations together. That's going to spread disease. Here we
Well,
go.
and that's the thing that, when you ask RFK, you're getting rid of vaccinations. No, I'm not. And theoretically, that's true, but he's not making it mandatory anymore. So what that means, if it's not mandatory for certain groups of people, that means your insurance company isn't going to pay for it. Like he said, anybody 65 and older should get it. Anybody under or over five and under 65, if they don't have any problems or diseases, they aren't mandatory to get it. Now, what that
That's
means
stupid.
is you can get it, but you're going to have to pay about $200 a pop. So you got a family of five, three kids, a wife and a husband, or whatever. Now you got $1,000 you got to pay just to get the COVID vaccination. These people are probably having trouble just to get by as it is, and they can't
Right.
afford to buy the COVID. So we get a lot of people not getting the COVID. We're going to have a lot of people who want the COVID vaccination that can't get it because the government said, fuck you, you don't need it.
And to top it all up, for Medicare, they are putting in, as Stacey Abrams put it, death boards. What do you mean by that, Will? They're going to use AI like insurance companies do to evaluate whether you should have any kind of treatment under Medicare. Oh, okay. That's not good. That's
Yeah,
not good because they're going to look into, because understand Medicare doesn't pay for everything. You get Medicaid, you get Medicare supplements, and the supplements don't want to pay because that's paid by insurance companies. They will keep costs down at your expense.
right,
That's what they
right.
do. And that's what happened. Right now, we have an administration who doesn't care about you unless you care about them. And even then, they don't care about you.
They'll
It's
still
all
fuck
about
you.
you. Yeah, it's all about people making more money off you. The problem is a lot of business people are going, yeah, these tariffs aren't working for us. A lot of hedge fund guys are going, yeah, we're not making the money you told us we're going to make. Um, I believe someone made a comment about Alaska is finding out their revenue's down. Yeah, your revenue's down with oil because this Saudi Arabia just kicked up their production. They're screwed. It might be a little bit less gas prices for us, which they'll take credit for, but it's going to screw the oil business and the
Yeah.
oil guys. It's going to screw them too. And it's, and again, they don't care and they will continue not to care because it doesn't affect them. And that's the thing when it comes to like ICE and ethnic cleansing. Majority of people don't give a shit because it's not you they're chasing. As long as it doesn't come to me, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I say to some of you, my Fourth Amendment rights. So yeah, and because yours are next. I mean, that's the whole thing, and why we rail against this because it ain't normal, guys. This ain't normal. It's not. No, that's insane, Eric. That is fucking insane.
What's
A
that?
weakened virus to build immunity? No. Put it. No. Are you? They're crazy. No. That will kill you. Oh my God. I believe it, Eric. Go ahead and read it. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Well, no, it says I've heard numerous anti-vaxxers say they would rather inject a weakened virus to build immunity. They don't even know what they are against. There was a time early on in vaccinations where they would put a weakened or a dead virus into you to
The
create
original
the immunity.
smallpox virus.
Right. And that's what
Well,
they did.
actually, let me rephrase that. Smallpox wasn't smallpox. It was cowpox, which was similar to smallpox, but it fooled the body in creating antibodies against smallpox. All right.
Well, and that may be true to a certain extent, but the problem with COVID, uh, when you when you get COVID, it'll morph into something else.
Yes.
So whatever immunity you build up will not allow you to be immune from the new version of COVID because it changes very quickly.
Right.
So that
And
concept
again,
would have been great in the 50s, but not great now.
no. Well, that's why they've been working. The mRNA vaccines deal with breaking down the actual break down the structures of the virus and then come up with antibodies to attack the virus. Until the research was stopped, because for some reason RFK doesn't understand how this works. He thinks it's evil magic. They were making breakthroughs with cancer vaccines using mRNA to
Right.
break down the genetic parts of the cancer cells. And they were looking, and it was promising, but that research is gone now.
Okay. I tell you, excuse me, Will. We're going to wrap things up for the Rational Boomer podcast and the Substack Live. Um, Will is here on Substack. How many followers do you have right now?
37, and 2 are subscribed.
37 subscribers or 37 followers. We need to kick that up. You sat here with me and listened to an hour and 15 minutes talking to Will. He knows his shit. So all those people out there right now, we have 97 people out there. Make sure you follow and or subscribe to Will. It'll be worth your while to take a listen.
I'd like to see by the end of the month we get to 100. Because again, what I'm going to tell you guys, what we're doing here, I know Eric Parnas is over there panicking about them going after journalists and what we say. That's because they're afraid of us. As I say now, as I sign off, remember, don't be silent. Remember, there are more of us than of them. That's why they freak out. That's why they go to violence, because they know and they see it in the streets. They hear it. Thank you, Roseanne. They hear it at their town halls. It's starting to fall apart, and the only thing they got left is that they got to scream louder. I'm not going to, well, I will scream. But that being point, I'm going to bring up, and we need to push back because the emperor has no clothes. He's reacting to this because he knows the Epstein files are out there. He knows everything is falling apart. And eventually he cannot hang on to it. And once we get control, not only will we get back to where we were and get it better. Yes, I know I've got people that have said to me, we shouldn't, we don't need to get back to where we were. We have to get better. Yeah, we got to take some steps first, people. We have
We
to
got to
get
get out
there
of the
and get
hole first.
through there. Yeah, don't. The old saying in sales is, you know, it, hogs, pigs get fed, hogs get slaughtered. Use your head.
Right.
Okay,
Right. Absolutely.
and
Uh,
so
so
don't be afraid to speak because that's our only weapon at this point.
absolutely correct. So I want to thank all the people who joined us on the live. You're a lifesaver. You participating and interacting makes this thing all worthwhile and interesting, and I thank you for that. For those who listen through the whole live and will listen to the podcast when that goes up, I appreciate you taking the time. I hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.